If I was him, I would have woke up and went right back to sleep. I'm safe.
I'm like, fuck. I'm not dealing with this. Wake me up in 28 weeks.
28 weeks.
We have such sights to show you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Four Dead Losers podcast. We are the Four Dead Losers. I'm Ramiro.
Adam.
Jordan.
Justin.
And today we're going to be talking about 28 Days Later. Ooh, how exciting. The non-zombie movie. Justin, this was your pick. Non-spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie?
I actually really liked it. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I know it's not as action-packed as zombie movies are nowadays, but I really liked pretty much how it panned out. I really liked, how do I explain it? You don't really see this anymore where they take whole sets, and in the movies, like in the beginning opening shots, I thought it was really neat how because if I remember correctly, they had to actually stop traffic just to film all those scenes and put everything up, which I thought was really nice, and you don't see that anymore. Everything's, I think I remember saying to my girlfriend at the time, I was like, if this was coming out in this time, they would have just put it all on a green screen. So it's nice to see something like that again, and it's really cool because I think it's also one of the first kind of films that came out on digital film recording. So it was kind of cool to see that. I didn't know that either. I actually talked to one of my coworkers about that, and they kind of told me that as a tidbit. But I liked it overall. Again, it's not like the craziest zombie movie. It's not super gory or anything like that, but I think it does have a lot of themes about, humanity, what they're willing to do and stuff like that in time of crisis.
Yeah.
So
Rating out of 10?
I'd say like an 8 or an 8.5.
Okay, 8/8.5, 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, 8.25. 8.25.
For the record, where did you have long legs?
I don't remember. I think I gave it I originally gave it like a 9, I think, but I don't regard it that high anymore. I brought it down to maybe even a 7, something like that. It's one of those that if I reflected on it, it's like,
Yeah.
I was really hyped about it, but now that I've actually had time to sit and just kind of internalize it.
Yeah.
It's not.
You wanted more Cage.
Yeah, I wanted more Nick Cage being Nick Cage. I wanted him, doing that shit more. Doing some weird ass
Willie's
shit.
is better. I'm just...
Yeah. Willie's is better than Long Legs. If you want a Nick Cage movie, that's so much.
That's funny. Adam, not spoiler thoughts. What did you think?
Jordan get the gas. I kind of want to know what Jordan.
Jordan, not spoiler thoughts. What did you think of the movie? We're going backwards order today.
So, to touch on a few things he said,
He hates.
I disagree. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I did note that, apparently, we don't live in the UK, but apparently a lot of those places are pretty popular. And, they were filming, super early in the morning because they couldn't you can't block off all that.
Yeah, they film outside of Buckingham Palace, right?
Yeah,
or, when he's walking on the bridge or whatever.
So, it is one of the first movies to use digital, which is why a large, majority of it shot at, 720 by 480. The reason I found that out is because I was wondering why the quality looks the way it does. Because most of them can be remastered or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was for a second I thought, well, okay, it's just a DVD we watched. A digital version will look better, but
no,
it's shot like that.
I kind of liked it. I thought it added to it.
I did like the grainy.
Yeah.
It matches the vibe of that, the
really
apocalypse vibe. Yeah, and also because they only had so long to shoot, it's not feasible to bring all the film shit out there and the director doesn't say it's a zombie film, but it is credited as being a big influence and reviving that genre. So it's not something I really thought about until y'all had talked about it. Also interesting to note is that there was a different ending that did really bad with test audiences.
Really?
So they had to get an emergency budget to reshoot. I didn't hate the ending, but
I liked it.
Overall, I don't know. It felt like a movie that was 30 minutes too long for me. A lot of it is, I don't know. It's weird because I don't have a negative. I don't feel negatively about it. It's kind of just
too
not
long.
A specific thing you can point to.
There's nothing in it that I'm that is the reason I don't like it.
It's just too long.
It just didn't. It didn't click for me.
Oh.
I don't understand how for me personally, I don't get how like critics and audiences have it in like the high 80s or 90s. Like
that's me with Nosferatu.
fair. Fair. I don't know. It doesn't feel like maybe in the context of the time, if we were 20 years ago, it would have felt like a
28 years
quintessential
ago.
film. Yeah, but yeah, that's where I stand. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Damn.
All right.
Hey, that's pretty harsh. For me, I think there were some good things about it, and I think that the movie as a whole was good. But there were some things that I think, looking at it now, I think that's the hard part, is looking at it from my lens now is a little bit harder for me to appreciate maybe some of the things that were then in 2000. I do, like I said, appreciate the graininess that you were talking about. Like, I don't think the way that the film looks in itself is bad in any way. I think it's fine, but I thought that the edits were very early 2000s and the cuts were very awful at times. Like, I'm on the record of saying some of the 90s and the early 2000s were definitely a dark time at times for some movie genres. Like, definitely there were some bad horror movies, there were some bad sci-fi movies, things like that. And I don't think this falls in that category per se, but I think it does fall into the pitfalls and traps of late 90s, early 2000s movie where, like, just again, like, the cuts were not very good. At one point, I think we were arguing about the audio. It was like, dude, I can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, the balance was, you were full blast on the TV.
Yeah, I had to turn our TV up literally all the way up.
That's how I was. When I rewatched it today,
on.
I had mine on like 80, and then there were some parts where I had to turn it back down.
I think that's a transfer thing. I don't think it's a thing of the time. That's like an actual.
And it might have been.
It's a thing, like, even like with today's standards, like,
And-
it's because it doesn't transfer well over movies from the big screen.
Yeah.
And again, that's probably just a case of that at the time too.
And it could have been, and you know, like I said, I think the tropes are there with it being an earlier movie that has some of those things. I think, again, like, I don't think it's bad in any means. Like, I can't sit there and say like this was a bad movie. But if I were sitting by myself, we watched it, I think almost everybody in here except for you together. I think I would have had to stop and like take a break for a bit, just because, not because it was slow or anything like that, just because like I was just like, I don't know, just the way it was cut kind of was annoying. I was just like, oh, like, it just bothers me, irks me. Like, I know you said you hate the way that older movies, 60s, 70s movies are. Like, I feel like for me, I can almost accept that medium a little bit more than like sometimes the 90s and 2000s. And again, it wasn't bad. Again, it's just the cuts and stuff just made me kind of like, it took me out of it almost a little bit. Like, I don't know how to explain it. But
no, I get what you're saying. It's like when I was, because I rewatched The Mist not too long ago, and how I texted y'all. I was like, bro, if y'all watch this movie, the cinematography, the cuts and everything, it's like if I'm watching Modern Family. Like, it's the same.
Oh yes, it's
the
that
same
like
method.
that documentary style filming where it's like
constantly moving.
It's constantly
Yeah.
moving, like the zooming in on like certain things. Like, it's the same method that they're using. For The Mist, I guess it evolved into Modern Family later on, but that's besides the point.
The Office.
The
Office.
This movie did have a lot of cuts though, like 2000.
There was a lot of cuts.
And I think something like, because we just watched it, something like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is like 20 years earlier. I feel like aged way. I feel like that aged way better.
I think yes.
Like
the aging, it feels like this movie aged not as well.
It feels like a 2000s movie.
Not of the story or the plot or the overall theme of the movie, which was done still well, but just the cuts and the way that everything kind of like
the
came
editing,
out. The product, yes, the editing product. That how it came out, and I kind of agree with him. Like, I know it's a staple, and everybody like holds it in high regards. And I think, looking back at it then, I think I would have given it a higher rating. But looking at it now, I feel like it kind of diminishes a little bit. Like, and I hate saying that because I like older movies, but I don't know.
Yeah. So what's your rating out of 10?
Ooh, if I had to put a number on it, I would say a 7. Like, with the edits and stuff, again, like, it's not bad. It just, I don't know, it just bothers me. It just kind of irks me a little bit. But it's not a bad movie. It's still good.
Yeah. So non-spoiler thoughts for myself. I just to kind of get it moving along. I don't really have much to add other than that. I feel like the story was pretty straightforward. The twist I didn't see coming. I had seen this movie before.
I forgot it too.
Yeah, but when I was like 9 or something, it was one of those movies that my dad would be like, "Hey, watch this," and then he'd fall asleep while I was watching the movie. And so I didn't like that twist. I didn't expect happening, and we'll get into once we get into the spoiler section of the video.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
And then he's gonna be like, "Oh, I changed my rating at the end." He's like, "Oh,
I might.
The effects were actually like fairly decent. I thought,
I thought
even
they
for
were too.
like the film kind of being kind of grainy, like the blood looked kind of real at points where I was like, ugh. Except for when we get with Frank, but we'll talk about that later.
It had a big budget too, I think.
Did it?
Yeah.
It was like an $8 million budget, which for the time was probably
And it was produced by Lionsgate.
Lionsgate, I think.
Lionsgate. So there.
yeah.
Mhm. And Lionsgate, I think at this point,
Still good.
we're about to
Yeah.
hit like a really big gold plot or
The
gold.
Saw came out
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Like they were about to hit a really big gold mine or had hit one.
Yeah.
So I can see them being like, no, add more blood. Ah, Saw did great. Anyways, so for myself, rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 5, an average movie for me. But yeah. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to the spoiler section of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. It would really help us out. We really appreciate it. But this is going to be your spoiler warning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, at least that's the whole movie right there. Well, at least our schools aren't Call of Duty.
That's so bad.
That's the whole movie. You can end it. that's the whole movie.
That makes sense.
Okay. So the movie starts. We have like a bunch of different clips are playing off of TVs that are showing like different riots and like protests and stuff like that. And we see that there's like this chimpanzee that's tied to a chair that's basically like being force fed these pieces of propaganda
Violence, yeah. It's like violence.
I guess it's not really propaganda if it's actually happening, but that's beside the point.
Propaganda. That violence is not real.
Not real.
That's none of that's real fake news.
This is
Oh, they
before
had him watching
Facebook.
CNN.
Yeah.
That's so bad. So they're force viewing this chimpanzee a bunch of like protest and violence and all these things, and then we get like a bunch of we get more shots. It turns out that this chimp is basically in a lab that is incredibly dark. No idea why, but then this activist group, I think there's like 4 or 5 of them, break into the lab, and it's the like what you would expect PETA to be like, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let the
Yeah.
animals free.
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty
okay. And so a scientist walks in on them while they're doing that, and he's like, no, trying to get them to stop. He tries to warn them that they're infected with something, and the activist group is like, what are they infected with? And I think he says anger.
Rage.
Rage, right. Rage!
Yeah.
The monkeys get loose and they eat everybody.
Yeah.
And
Like,
then-
if this man really, first of all, if he really wanted to save, like, is that really the best description he could come up with?
Well, they didn't know. That was the thing. They didn't know
Right.
exactly. They said it was like a thing. They didn't say it like that. They didn't go, it's rage. They said it was a virus that induces rage
Okay.
Yeah, something
amongst
like that.
people.
This might have been the best scene in the
but he
movie.
also did say he was like it is easily transmittable, like
Yeah.
using just
Probably
saliva.
does.
Saliva
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
blood.
And I don't give a fuck. Bam.
Yeah. Let the monkeys loose.
Yeah.
So they let the monkeys loose, and then we basically get everybody gets attacked by apes, and then we get the title card 28 days later.
Planet of the Apes.
Probably one of the fastest infections in a movie, like happened within the first like minute.
Yeah.
And everybody's infected.
And everyone's infected, yeah. And then we get basically clips of this guy who we'll find out his name is Jim, right?
Oppenheimer guy.
Yeah. This is the guy who
Cillian Murphy. That's his name, right?
Cillian
Yeah.
Murphy?
Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy.
It's
right?
Cillian, yeah.
Cecilia Murphy.
His name is Jim?
His name's Jim.
Yeah, the name's Jim.
Okay.
And we do get clips of him, I can confirm.
We do get clips of him.
His wiener's out.
Exactly what you said. Homeboy's hanging dong. But then we get clips of his cheeks, and then
Why does he not have clothes on?
And that's
he was
what I don't know.
Like, I know he was in a coma, but who took the clothes off of him? Like,
I don't know. I
Why
think
was that the creative choice?
They're like, dong.
Right? It was in the contract.
You know what? It's because when you're born into this world, you're born with no clothes, so he came out of...
You know what? Okay. I respect it, actually.
It was methodical. Is that a word?
I mean, it's essentially literally.
I don't know.
It's essentially, again, I'm sure because it came after or before, I don't remember, but like, it's just The Walking Dead. Like, it literally starts off like The Walking Dead. He wakes up in the hospital by himself.
Well, The Walking Dead starts off like this.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yes, The Walking Dead came out.
Bro, isn't that like the
10 years
2010s?
after.
Are you sure? No, it was a comic.
Yeah. You know what? I don't have the compendiums anymore. Yeah, for real. So he walks around the hospital trying to figure out what's going on. He gets a gown.
And a Pepsi.
And a Pepsi. This movie was sponsored by Pepsi.
I was like,
because
there's so much Pepsi out
There's
there.
actually, I didn't realize there's actually 7-Ups too, right in the beginning.
Oh,
Isn't
really?
that Pepsi?
I don't think so.
I think 7-Up's owned by
Oh,
Pepsi, no?
I don't know.
Just the Sprite.
28 Days
Coke.
Later was 2002, and Walking Dead was 2003.
Oh.
Walking Dead's that old?
Yes!
It's a comic. It's originally a comic.
Yeah.
The show's not that old.
Sure.
The show came out in like
Hey,
2010.
Nobody reads.
Something like
What are
that,
you
yeah.
doing?
Nobody reads.
They're all for show.
Readings for nerds. So he walks around, realizes nobody's in the hospital. There's absolutely nobody around.
Mhm.
Like he's shouting like, "Hello, is anybody there?" All these things, and there's no one. We learn that he's in London. We get clips of like the really big landmarks, right? Buckingham Palace, the Big Ben. Is there like that they have a Ferris wheel or something like that, right? Like a
the
famous
London
one?
Eye.
Yeah. And there's nobody around. He eventually makes his way into like a church, right?
Yeah.
I like this scene.
Yeah, I like this
that's
scene
pretty
too.
That was
good.
a good
Yeah.
scene.
Except I couldn't see anything the first part of it. Like, I saw somebody get up, but you couldn't make out the outline because it's so green. I was like,
It's cool. I liked it. It's like I liked it. The whole pile of bodies and everything like that.
Yeah.
I think it was cool. It was a really cool scene.
So this church basically has like, it's like a 2-tier kind of system. So the first one has, where the altar is and all the pews, and the second one has an opening in the middle where the people who are sitting upstairs can view down to see what's going on. Jim makes it upstairs, and he peers over into the abyss and sees a plethora of bodies, like they're everywhere. And I think one of y'all, while we were saying it, while we were watching the movie, one of y'all was like, "Bro, doesn't that building fucking smell?"
yes, that's what I said. I was like, dude. He didn't like wince or anything. He's just like, oh, there's
He did
bodies there.
off-screen. He did off-screen.
There's bodies there.
There's bodies everywhere. Well, he yells, "Hello," and then 2 people from the crowd like look up and they see him, and then we hear knocking from like a door that's on the same floor as him, and then the priest comes out, right, and basically chases him down.
Oh, we get a close up because he
Yeah.
like hits him with the bag or whatever,
Yeah.
and then we get a close up. Yeah.
The close up of the priest, his eyes are all red.
It's very video game-esque.
Which they use real contacts for.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's cool.
They didn't get him high on crack.
No, hey, that would have been.
They rubbed like shit in their eye.
They're actually going
they
crazy.
actually gave him a virus.
That's so bad. Homeboy Jim takes off running. He's being chased into the streets. Eventually, he ends up finding like this other group of people. They're throwing Molotovs at the zombies. Zombies right next to him. They're basically saying, "Hey, come with us, whatever." Okay, cool. They get away. They blow up a gas station.
That was crazy.
To kill 2 zombies, they blow up a whole gas station.
You gotta do what you gotta do, you
And
know?
like, doesn't that attract more?
They're gone.
That's what I was thinking
I don't
in the
know.
beginning when he's like walking around and he makes the car alarm go off. I
Yeah.
thought that was gonna like do something.
Yeah, but oh well, I guess it doesn't. So we find out that these 2 people that save him, one of them is named Mark and the other one's named Selena.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're basically like, "You have to stay with us now. Everybody is dead." They drop some lore here, and the way that they deliver on camera is, in my opinion, very funny because it looks like a 2000s music video where like one of them is talking, but then you can see there's like an overlay of the other
Yes.
one's face, and the occupancy is like 50%.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can see. It was funny.
They do that like I know we haven't gotten there yet, but like that same scene where like they're sleeping overnight, they do that where like they pan over the city, but you can see them. And, like,
You
their
can see
dog.
it, yeah.
And they also do a lot of like besides either like the really fast action cuts, they'll do like the really slow like music video pans from one person to another.
I still liked it.
It's just, I guess that was like a product of his time.
Yeah,
like,
it's a product of his time,
That's
exactly.
what people were doing when they were filming these different art projects back then. So like,
they're being different. Apparently, this director is known for like being. I don't know who he is. He's known for like being different. He makes like other movies where he's like.
Danny Boyle. He's directing 28 Years Later, actually.
Yeah, but he does like other movies where like that's why he was like it's not a zombie movie because he wants to be different.
Yeah.
That's
Train Spotting, Slumdog Millionaire.
I like that movie.
Train Spotting 2, 127 Hours. Is that the one where the dude cuts his leg off?
I think so.
The Beach.
James Franco, I think.
Yeah, Sunshine, Yesterday, Shallow Grave, Steve Jobs, National Theater Live, Frankenstein.
Oh look, they already got the sequel.
28 Years Later, The Boneyard, I think is what it's called. Well, I guess we know that that's surviving. Yeah, most of these are like, yeah, maybe.
Oh, he did 28 Weeks as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Just real quick, looking at my notes, I will say this whole sequence I did really like. I feel like for me the first half
The
of the
music
movie,
video?
Yeah, well, just everything from like him waking up to like
it's good.
I feel like I like this up until
It did a
the,
really
like,
good job.
you
about,
know
like,
we hit Act 2 or 3, whatever y'all would call it, probably Act 2. That's when I start getting all the red things on my. That's when it kind of loses it for me.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed all of this right here.
Yeah, it did a really good job about showing that like there's like civilization's gone,
Mm-hmm.
and it fell apart in 28 days.
Gone.
So Jim basically tells the two of them like, "Hey, I need to go check up on my parents." Right? Like they. Last I remember, I was in an accident. Homeboy, he has a big old scar on his head, so he had some kind of like brain surgery, I think.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing about the haircut.
The haircut's pretty bad. But he needs to like go tell his parents that he's okay, right, or something like that. So they're like, "No, we can't go," and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go, whether you like it or not."
They're like, your parents are dead! Your parents are probably
basically
dead.
told
Yeah, they
them that,
pretty
yeah.
much said that. They're like, we can go, but they're gonna be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Don't be sad about it.
And and Mark and Selena tell him that there's 2 rules for the world now: never travel alone, and never travel only travel during the day.
Yeah.
Only travel not during the day. AKA at
Don't go
night.
out at night. And so they make their way to the house. Okay, they're in the house. Jim goes upstairs and he reacts to this smell when he starts walking upstairs.
There
And
are 2 people, but when there was like 500.
Maybe they just died. I don't know.
No moscas, no nothing.
no, nothing. He walks into his parents' bedroom, and the 2 of them decided to go out on their own accord. And they left a basically note saying like, if you find this note, Jim, we're sorry.
That's sad.
No,
it
it
was
wasn't.
like-
No, if we want you to know we're going with you.
Because he's been asleep.
Don't wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're sleeping with
Don't wake
them.
up.
Don't wake
Yeah.
up. That's sad.
Yeah, it was
He
pretty
had
sad.
one job to not wake up.
Yeah. To die. That was your only job. And
Die.
you sucked at that.
Bruh. I mean, he got in an accident when he was riding on a bike. Wasn't he
Yeah.
doing a delivery?
He was,
So
a,
he
he was
got
a mail boy. That was his job. A mail boy.
I'm so. It doesn't matter.
What?
Because okay, I'm going back to the beginning. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It just clicked in my mind. Like the whole hospital's torn apart. Are they like because he doesn't move and he's in a coma? They don't go after him.
They probably thought he was dead.
Yeah.
Right.
They probably thought he
Like,
was dead.
if I was him, I would have woke up and went right back to sleep. I'm safe.
I'm like, fuck. I'm not dealing with this. Wake me up in 28 weeks. Ah!
28 weeks. Bruh. And so they basically have a conversation where they decide to stay the night in the first floor away from the parents. And so they're like, okay, cool. Everybody gets in sleeping bags. Jim, I think he has like a candle or something that he's using to like get a midnight snack or something like that.
Yeah.
And then of course, because it's dark outside.
They have what is it? A sunroof they come through.
Yeah.
He was watching like home videos too. Like we were watching it with him before.
Which
this
I thought
happened.
the whole house was 2 stories. I didn't know that there was a 1-story side that just had a window.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I thought he crashed through the back.
I thought it was a
There was-
side
there
door.
was-
There was one in the side,
two,
but
like
one,
one or
I thought
two.
one that came from the top.
Bruh, they
Pretty
fly,
sure.
yo.
Crazy.
So basically what happens is, like we're alluding to, they get attacked by non-zombie zombies. Mark gets
Bit.
scratched or bit or
Yeah.
something, and then
Yeah.
Selena like basically Selena takes care of the issue.
Yeah, I actually really like. This is one of the scenes where like I feel like the fast camera angles and just that style like really is executed well. We actually get to see some of the kills. Everything looks as realistic as possible. And then even like you're saying, Selena just like no hesitation.
Yeah. She was like,
well, she knows, like, yeah, exactly. Like, you don't have time. They said it happens in, what, like 30 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, we get
like 10 seconds.
It's really quick, and we get a glimpse of that at the beginning with the apes.
Yeah.
Like when the people get bit or whatever, they turn like immediately.
Yeah, Selena mentions that you have like basically 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
To get rid of them. But I just thought it was crazy. And then she like, it's pretty brutal. She doesn't, it's not like, let me make sure he's dead. She's
Well,
like,
no, and then I kind of figured he was gonna die because I'm pretty sure he also does the lore dump here too, right? Where he talks about how he like where he was, isn't this like?
Oh, that was back in the thing.
Yeah, he was at the airport and like, he was like, oh yeah, and like I had to crawl over, I had to crawl over a bunch of bodies. No, it was airport.
It was an airport.
Yeah, it was the airport because he thought, I'm gonna leave.
Right, and he's like, you couldn't tell when you were in the crowd who was infected and who wasn't.
That's scary, honestly. Just like the.
And he said he just crawled over people and body and just got out.
The grocery store during COVID, for real.
Toilet paper. That's why I will say that's the one thing I thought was crazy was that
no toilet paper.
Getting ahead of ourselves, but when they find the supermarket and it was like completely untouched, I'm like, that is unrealistic to like at all. Like it would be touched.
You never know.
Or is that how quick everything happened?
Yeah, you never know. They could have.
They would have been at the grocery store too.
Maybe everybody right now they're repelled to groceries. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
They're repelled from Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
I do find. Oh, well, I guess they get infected and run away. Like, because I was gonna say, I do find it interesting when he's walking down like London or whatever. There's no dead people on the floor, or like.
Yeah. Well, they're not killing them. They're infecting them. You know, so they're not.
But like, okay, like this scene specifically when they're
like
at the house.
The church has bodies.
So
that's what I'm saying. Like when they're going after Jim, they're not going to just infect him. They're like trying to kill him.
They never even like so they just like try to just take them down. They never eat. They don't actually show them eat them, right? They just literally just attack.
So why wouldn't there be people everywhere? I understand it's like a filming thing. Like they didn't have time to. Okay, we got 40 minutes. Everybody go lay out there. Like,
start pushing people over. Stay there.
I just thought that because like the supermarket, there's no people outside.
No
the
people
inside
in there.
of it looks clean.
But there's the one in the gas station though. They're eating in the gas station, but not eating. There's nobody in the grocery store.
Yeah. Okay,
plot hole.
So Selena and Jim basically end up taking off. They see this apartment complex that has like Christmas lights or something on like a really high floor. They make their way towards that building. They eventually get there. The non-zombie zombies are following them the entire time, and they essentially get like rescued by this guy in riot gear armor and his daughter. The guy takes care of the infected. They go in and we meet Frank and Hannah, the other two characters to our core four. They give them food and a place to stay, all that good stuff. But Selena's very insistent about not staying there, that they have to leave. And then they get a radio and they pick up a signal from a military base or something like that, basically saying like, hey, we have resources, come over here to us. And so the majority of the second act is basically their journey from the apartment complex to the military base. And this is where we get the scene with the grocery store, just like y'all are saying. There's like the shelves are filled. Like if you look at them, there's no empty spaces.
They did their job.
They literally were right there when everybody attacked. They all ran out. They're like, we gotta preserve this for someone who's gonna survive. They're helping everybody.
That's true. Frank leaves his credit card
right
as he was leaving.
That was good.
At least
they didn't put their cards away either. What the hell?
I don't get it right. They put all the food in Frank's minivan and then they take off.
Not even a minivan.
It's like a little cab. It's a cab.
It's honestly like a hatchback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only scene that actually kind of made me mad is when they decided to go over all those cars.
Yeah, so
it went straight. It did no gear.
Well, it did start dipping, and that's when they popped the tire.
But that was like a straight wall of cars.
I was like, why would they do that?
How did he do that?
So what they're talking about is they basically get to a fork in the road. After the grocery store, they get to a fork in the road where basically they can go into a dark tunnel that'll lead them straight to where they want to go, or like a roundabout way. They decide to go into the dark tunnel, and there's like
I was like, okay, that's stupid.
there's like an 8-foot wall of cars that somehow theirs is just able to go on top.
There was
of
a ramp.
He like
They built a ramp. Not they didn't build a ramp, but there was a ramp there. For some reason, there was
not a ramp.
There was a ramp. That's how I went over it.
I didn't see the ramp.
There was a
I
ramp.
didn't see
for
the
plot
ramp.
reasons.
For plot reasons, there was a ramp.
full speed with a all he got was a flat tire.
They did. They were driving on the roof of the car. Just got a flat tire. They made it to the other end. They have to repair the flat tire. I did really like this scene.
It was tense.
Yeah.
It was really tense.
Why did they make Hannah do it? Did she say something?
Because
about
they had
that?
to lift
She's
the
a small
car.
artist.
Okay.
She's a small lady.
Oh, yeah,
Because I
she's
realized
small,
when
yeah.
like the rats come, which I thought that was cool. Like even the rats.
They stole that from
rats.
Nosferatu.
True.
I thought they were gonna be infected, but
Yeah.
obviously they weren't.
Even
Which is
that.
surprising.
But I was
because
like,
you think
bruh,
that's-
they're over here rushing Hannah.
yeah, I was like,
You got like a 15-year-old girl. If
Yeah.
that, probably not even that. Like,
So a sea of rats comes at them, basically warning them that the infected are coming. Then we get the shot right of like the shadows first, and then we see
that's probably why they were
The
infected
infected.
because they know. Maybe I don't know.
too quick.
Yeah, they're too quick.
They change the tire just in time, and then they take off again. They make it to like a blockade or something, like a military blockade.
Mhm.
So they get out of the car to go check it out. The radio, this is where they told them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Whoa.
There is a pit stop.
There's a pit stop, but
and
it's not.
none
It's
of
like,
the
yeah,
points,
it's
none of
just
the
yeah,
points.
where they get gas, and then
Yeah.
Jim kills a kid zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. And then they try to give Hannah drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. I mean,
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping.
No, you're fine. And then they get to the blockade. They're kind of checking it out, and I think Frank at this point is like really upset,
Yeah,
right? Like
'cause-
he's like, we took the trip all the way over here, and there's nobody here.
Yeah, I mean, like, because it's like, where do you go now? This was like their
Exactly.
one saving like point. This was their hope, right?
So
After this,
Selena's-
like,
yeah.
they have nowhere to go now.
Selena's saying they need to go, and he's like,
where?
Go where? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I mean, I like this is like that thing. It's like that sense of hopelessness that I like.
Yeah,
about,
I
that's
really-
probably a thing that I like about the movie.
I like this sequence too,
Yeah.
because this entire time, Frank, we see him as like a loving father to Hannah,
Mm-hmm.
and so for here, it's like, in my mind, it's kind of like that side of your parents that they don't want you to see,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where they're like frustrated, but they're trying to raise you to be
Yeah.
a good person or whatever, so they don't want you to. They're trying to hide those
Yeah.
kind of feelings from you. Anyways, so he goes to just kind of sulk, and there's like a crow that's annoying him. So
Taking out a body.
yeah, it's picking at a dead
That's like
body.
on a pole.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
He got impaled or something.
So he goes and he starts kicking the gate or whatever, and then a drop of blood from the dead body goes into his eyeball. And then Hannah's like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "No, stay away." And then you can see like
I
him
like his
struggling.
transition.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see him like
And I can't remember. Is it Selena that deals the deed, or did the army?
the army.
show
The
up?
army.
does.
They take.
Selena tells Jim to do it, and he's
Yeah.
getting like his bat ready, and then
Right.
which were the army guys just waiting there? Like,
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the mist.
based on what we found out,
They
it
waited.
almost feels
It
strategic.
was premeditated. No, it
Yeah.
was premeditated. Yeah,
That-
for sure.
And I was like,
They were just, yeah,
Because I don't think they would have been able to handle two people.
Yes.
yeah,
two guys that are like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so soldiers come in, they take care of Frank, and they're like, he's gone. Come with us. Like, we'll take your food or whatever, and you can be with us. And then so we end up making it to the military base, and we get a tour of the base, right?
Mansion.
Yeah, it's like a mansion.
It's actually it was filmed at like some mansion, and apparently like the upstairs scenes were filmed downstairs because the person who lived there was still living upstairs while they were filming. Yeah.
That's cool.
funny.
I was like, yeah, you can just you live up there. Well,
Yeah. You hear some stuff. We'll clean up. Don't worry.
Right.
Don't worry about it. And so we get some pieces of important pieces of information. The first one is that all the zombies apparently only come from one direction, and it's that way. And so they arm they arm that entire direction with the minefield. They have weapons. They have food. They have an infected person chained up for research purposes. They basically want to see if the person will starve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
also something something to note, like
yeah.
because you talked about the outside setup. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna hit this specific scene. There's like the moment when they're all storming it, and we mentioned this when we were all watching it together. Where like they're shooting people, and the mines are going off, and there's like blood and like
Yeah,
to me flying at them.
Flying at
They don't
them.
have any mask on, and none of them get infected. But
It's
because
just luck. I mean, it's just
you got this one drop of blood.
They got plot armor.
you just gotta. It's just all luck. I mean, at that point, you know,
Yeah.
it's just luck.
Also,
It's
like, you're
just
like, oh yeah, we have these mines marked. I'm like, at no point did I see them like
an
actually,
actual floor
or
thing.
like them mine sweep.
But you gotta,
and they're
like-
go get the bodies.
you gotta,
like,
like-
me.
You gotta think they're not. You gotta think of like the group of people they are. They're not like
Yeah.
they probably weren't actually like. They're probably like grunts, right? They
Yeah.
just probably got barely enlisted. They like didn't handle their weapons well at all.
Clear.
You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell they were very green as far as the army.
Yeah.
They were the type of people that were using their title to just
For power.
for power and
Yeah.
to lure people in. They weren't actually
Yeah.
Facts,
So you could.
yeah.
They weren't. Obviously, they would say stuff like that to kind of like
Yeah.
influence and lead you to believe.
Yeah. So after we get that tour, they have dinner. Okay, whatever. They're basically being assigned jobs, right? It's like you can stay here, but you're not going to stay here for free, which is understandable. They're telling the women, not that their jobs are understandable, but like they can't freeload.
Yeah.
They're telling the women like our cook sucks. Y'all are women. Y'all are going to cook now.
Even
Yeah.
though, so one, they're trying to like basically restart a civilization, which we'll touch more on later. But also, it's funny because they're doing all this, but then like when they first get there, there's a scene where Jim's like looking out the window, and they're like doing donuts with the car
Yeah.
outside, and like
Yeah. Like I
it's
said,
like
they're
Frank's
very.
car.
they're clearly
Yeah.
being taken advantage
Yeah,
of.
they're very.
like,
Yeah.
they're victims.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, just like Jordan was alluding to, there's a zombie horde coming in, and the sirens go off, and how the sirens don't attract more, I have no idea. We get the action scene where the people, the infected, are blowing up in the mines, they're mowing them down, all that stuff. And then one of the soldiers feels as though he deserves a reward, and feels as though he deserves Selena, if you catch my drift. I don't want to elaborate much more on that. And so immediately she's like, no. And Jim is like, we got to get the fuck out of here. And so Jim basically gathers all their things, right? And he goes, like, they're about to leave.
Well, before there's this kind of realization. After that happens, they kind of subdue the guy.
Yeah.
Frank has a talk with Jim.
You're
and
right.
He tells him.
It's not Frank. It's
not Frank.
It's another
Major Henry.
Major
It's
Henry.
the main guy. He's like walking down the hallway.
The leader
talking
of
about.
them. He says, "Hey, the reason we actually brought you here is because I promised them that they have women."
Is this
Yeah.
the twist y'all are talking
No.
about?
This is the twist that I was referring to.
Oh, you have a different.
Well, I don't know. Actually, probably not. Well, yes and no. I mean, that's one twist. The other one, I mean, is blatant at the very end.
Okay.
This happens.
But yeah, that was.
That's.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good twist, though. I thought it was
Yeah.
very. And this is like kind of goes to my whole thing about like what people will do as far as like the things they'll do
Yeah.
to kind of.
It's crazy because we think it's that one. Like, okay, so the whole scene starts when they're like, they take Selena's knife or whatever, and in our mind, it's like, okay, this one guy is just an ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's that one dude, I don't know his name, who's like willing to stick up for them.
Yeah.
But
One of the soldiers.
then
yeah.
when he has a talk with the major, we realize like, oh no, this was their plan all along. Like they were trying
Right.
to lure in, which is crazy. Again, I know we're not going to elaborate too much on it, but like, bro, they have a little kid with them.
Yeah,
Like,
and they even say
It's
like, no,
explicitly-
she's also going to be part of it,
Yeah.
which is
this is when they talk about
It's
restarting.
exactly.
Like, it's their idea. Of,
yeah,
And it's just one of those things again. That's like what humans devolve to when they're in
Yeah.
a sense of crisis.
'Cause without
you know?
that-
yeah. It's very
it's dark. You know,
like Lord of the Flies, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
humans are very dark when in times of crisis, and again that's one of the things I like about this movie. It's very heavy subject matter, but it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting to see, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the reasons why I do like this movie.
Yeah. And so basically they give Jim the ultimatum, right? Either you're with us or you're against us. And he's like, no, I'm against you or whatever. So like, okay, cool. We're going to chain you in the basement with that other soldier who took your side.
Yeah.
And so they're in the basement. Selena and Hannah are upstairs basically being forced to get ready.
Yeah. Oh, also just quick to note, because it was interesting what you just said. That same guy that he gets chained with, that Jim gets chained with, was talking about when they were at dinner, like before.
Oh,
the apocalypse
that's the
came.
twist. That's the twist I was referring to. That they weren't actually. The whole thing is they're not. They're believing that this isn't a whole. They're believing it's a whole worldwide thing,
Right.
and it's not. They're quarantined. That's the twist.
I missed that one.
What do you mean?
They're not this.
That it's
this,
only in the UK.
It's only in the UK. The whole world's not infected like they think it is. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but they believe that the whole world, because
Yeah.
they said the last thing they heard on the news and stuff like that was like other
Yeah.
places that were stopping communication and stuff like that, but they didn't know why. Turns
Yeah.
out they
You're
were
right,
quarantined. They weren't actually, because that's what
Yeah.
happens. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah.
messed up, but that's like the most logical thing to do. Kind of
Yeah.
one of those a means to an end kind of thing.
You gotta keep it in.
You gotta, people
right.
are, you can't
You know,
save
and-
everybody.
and that
You
makes
say that, and then they nuke Raccoon City, and it still spreads.
Well, they got, yeah, whatever.
Damn, checkmate.
Yeah. Resident Evil.
But
Got nothing
That's
on
not
this.
bad.
You can't stop me. You can't stop me.
Nah,
Obviously not, right? It's
They
28
did,
years later.
they did quarantine Silent Hill, though. So I mean, that's
You
fair.
can't quarantine Silent Hill.
I mean, did it ever spread?
That's the worst. That's the worst take of the whole video. That's the worst take of the whole video.
It's nice. Silent Hill, New York edition.
That's the worst. That's the worst take of the whole.
Silent Hill, Yeehaw, Texas.
All right. We can end the video now. That's it.
But that guy was talking about basically like before the what do you want to call it? Before the virus was
Yeah.
spreading, like all he knew was people killing people.
Oh,
and now that
yes.
it's spreading, it's the
Yes,
same thing.
That's
So like,
Major Henry talking about it,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I think it's the other guy, the only guy that stands up for them. Because then Henry tells him to be quiet, basically.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was that guy.
Or was it another
I
guy?
don't know the name. I don't know.
I think
It
it
was
was
one of
just those two.
them.
The other ones don't have very
But
I only remember those two. So Henry, the guy who stands up for him, and then the other one who.
the
It's like a
asshole
dick,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. I just thought
And
that
the
was
one
I think it was that one, that the asshole guy that was saying that.
Because it's like, human nature is kind of, Their true colors are shown now,
Yes,
but
at the dinner. And
they're
stuff
always
like that,
kind
Yeah.
of that way.
And so Jim, I don't remember how he escapes. Do y'all remember how he gets?
They take him and the other guy
Oh, yeah,
out to
so
kill him.
they
basically.
kill them.
Oh, you're right. They take him to the woods.
Yeah, they shoot him, I think, the
Well-
first guy multiple times, and then the other dude gets pissed at him. Because there's two soldiers, the jerk and then another one, and
The guy's more humane than the jerk.
Yeah.
The guy wants them to feel as much pain as possible, so he puts a bayonet.
He's
Bayonet.
trying to.
yeah, he
Kill him
takes,
slowly,
and he
Kill him
takes
slowly, and then the other guy doesn't like that. He wants to give him a mercy killing. So as he's getting ready, the guy shoots him, and he gets mad at him.
And, like,
in that
turns around.
Yeah, when he turns around, and in that process, Jim's able to make an escape.
You're right.
just hides in the
He
pile
He
of
just hides in the
bodies.
pile of bodies.
Yeah.
Which
And they're not
does-
smart, obviously. That they run off thinking that he ran.
Yeah, he does like the ET, right?
Yeah.
And the stuffed
And the
animals.
stuff. Yeah, the stuff.
Or the Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
and this one we kind of touch on the human nature of this because like earlier in the movie when they first get to the apartment, Selena talks about how like you don't have to worry about if people are good. You have to worry if they're gonna slow you down.
Yeah.
And she basically says like I would leave you behind if you
Yes.
slow me down.
Mhm.
So this points to like Jim could have easily escaped. He does basically
Yeah.
like he could have left them there and
Mhm.
gone
Yeah.
away. But
But Jim returns. There's a heavy rainstorm, I think, right? And then Jim goes Rambo on the base.
It's crazy because this is the only scene I remember from the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this ending scene is the only whole scene I remember.
Well,
from the
and,
movie,
and
like,
what's crazy is
before
he
we
like
watched
has
it.
a whole like plan too, because what ends up happening is he hides in the bodies, he runs, and then I think they like see him kind of, but he hops the fence.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they realize like, oh yeah, he's dead at this point. Like they just call him, it's over. He's on the other side. There's no way he's gonna survive. And before he goes Rambo on the base, he sirens at the bottom of the
Yes.
hill where they found him, which gets the major and the other people like, oh hey, like obviously they know it's him, right? Nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, at the blockade.
Yeah, blockade. So they go down to the blockade, and yeah, he basically like in the heavy rain takes them out at the blockade, or at least half of them, while the two women are at the mansion with the jerk and like a couple other soldiers.
Mhm.
And then somehow he makes his way back way faster than everybody else, even though they had to
Avoiding
ride
all
a
the
jeep.
mines.
Yeah, and rode a jeep in, or didn't ride a jeep in, but somehow got back on foot. And then the major, same thing. He also got back very quickly without a jeep, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, like how quickly they get back, even though it's a drive to that mansion.
Jim releases the chained infected
Infected
soldier,
soldier.
and then he also goes Rambo on everybody in the
Yeah.
base. And of
he
course,
like
yeah, they like make eye contact, right? Like I got you, kind of weirdy, like weird
Yeah.
And
kind
the
of
zombie was
vibe.
like,
And then so the zombie goes Rambo on everybody in the base, and then you know, it gets to the end where we're basically the only one who's alive is Henry, right?
Yeah,
And
he
then-
makes it back to the base finally. Like he
Yeah.
gets there pretty late.
I think he had been there. He was
No.
sitting there.
No, he barely got back because the zombie took out a couple people and he got one of the other guys to turn. Like so, he turned another person. So it was
two of them
the
running
two
around.
of them running around, and he shows up after I think one of the guys gets killed. I think he kills the one that turned, right? Like he kills
Something
one
like
of them.
because there's the scene where he walks into the door.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's
He
he's
sees
talking with Jim, and after he released or before.
No, it's after he's watching somebody get killed. I
Yeah.
thought he like walks in. And he's like, "What
They
the?"
see them run.
Yeah, I see him run.
The,
Yeah.
the Scooby-Doo run. When they run back.
Because then before we encounter the Major, Jim has. I did like this kill, the one where he like shoves his thumbs in there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a-
That's the one scene I remember from the whole movie.
That's when he like saves
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
And then Hannah comes in and like slams a glass bottle on his head.
Yeah, because he thinks that he's infected or whatever,
Yeah.
and then the three of them are like, "Ah, no, we're all alive!" And then they, you know, Henry gets offed, and then I think they like drive in a car or get in a car. Or
Oh yeah, because
escape.
Jim gets shot. Like
by Henry.
By Henry. He opens
He
the door.
opens the door. He's there waiting.
But then,
That's why I was like-
but then the zombie, the main one, the original
Pulls
one,
him out.
Pulls him out.
Yeah,
with the
Hannah
auto.
backs him all the way up. Hannah
Yeah.
finally.
I
gets
thought it
him
was
again.
cool. Yeah.
I like that part. Yeah.
It was cool.
And then yeah, so Hannah, exactly like you're saying, backs up the car. Zombie reaches in, grabs Sergeant Henry, and then eats him or whatever. And then we get another title card 28 days later.
Is it again? 28 days later again?
Yeah, and then for some reason they show the flashback of when they first got
Oh,
to the
you know
hospital.
what? You know what was important?
I don't know.
I forgot
No, they
about?
weren't.
No,
That wasn't a
it's-
flashback. They were mending him.
No,
Yeah.
but it's like okay, 28 days later they're mending him, but then he wakes up and he's at a different. You know what I mean?
He's saying it's
There's like
it's
a jump
reflection
here.
of what's.
Oh, gotcha.
Like it wasn't 28 days later and then they barely are mending him, right? Because then
No, yeah, you're correct.
they reflect and then it goes to them. They're out in that country house or whatever.
And
That is
and then
28
they
days
wave at
later.
the plane that says hello.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
So I
sound-
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
That literally didn't just drops a missile on him.
I know, but they've been working 28 days to make that sign.
So the movie's actually 56 days later?
The end of the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Originally, I think there's two different
How many weeks is
original
that at
endings
that point?
that have like Jim dying basically.
Do the math.
He dies in one of the endings?
There's two alternate endings which are
Oh.
apparently on the bonus scenes on the DVD, which I
That's
want to
eight.
watch.
That's 8 weeks.
But where he gets shot
So-
and he dies.
so realistically,
There's two different. One of them they
So-
escape, one of them they don't. I
so
think.
That's only
He
21 more weeks.
one of them
until
he
the next
doesn't.
sequel.
Wait, what? So there's two alternate endings. One,
he dies in both.
yes. So he dies, but they get out. The girls.
I think that's one of
And
them.
then
And
the
the
other
other one,
ones,
I think
they don't?
all die. Yeah.
Oh.
And then there was a third one which only has like a storyboard thing for it that they didn't go with, where like when Frank gets infected, they don't kill him and instead they like find a cure. And Jim said, yeah, there's this whole other.
And they turn and they go.
But I think Jim dying was the one that the audiences didn't like.
Yeah.
So they basically like had to request for more budget to refilm the ending of
That
the.
makes sense.
To fly a plane over.
Oh, which
like,
apparently flying the plane was cheaper than like hiring people to CGI it. So they had a real.
They had a real plane.
Because-
Probably would have looked stupid. I don't know. That would have been something. Y'all would have been like, "Oh, the plane at the end looked really fucking
The
dumb."
CGI
was
fish
so
from,
bad, yeah.
from Mean Ones to CGI.
Bro, they could have had like somebody hold like a Hot Wheel plane in front of
That
it.
would've been the worst. That would've been the worst.
On a string.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you were gonna mention something.
Yeah,
before
so
that
it was
ended.
it was just the way that the movie ended. Was
Okay.
pretty much it. Like the Jim waking up, just like y'all said, the plane flying over. They have the hello sign, and then the very last line of the movie is, "Do you think they'll save us?" Boom, roll credits.
I thought it was. Did you think they saw us?
You're
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Do you think they saw us? Boom, roll credits.
Yeah. And then
Which
you gotta
is-
watch 28 weeks later to find
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I guess
wanna watch
so.
it, yeah.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the movie.
At that point, is the whole world infected? At that point,
No, no, I haven't seen it.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess you gotta watch 28 weeks later.
I didn't watch it though.
No,
Huh.
no, they're not, because 28 weeks later they go back to London because everybody who was infected they assume has died off from starvation. So they go back to
And
London.
they get reinfected.
They
They
do.
bring it back.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Oh!
My understanding is 28 weeks focuses more on like one person comes to America, I think, and like they're infected but they're not showing any symptoms, and then they spread it. I'm pretty sure it's like one of those like,
Carrier.
a carrier zombie who like just won't.
They doesn't know that they
Zombie.
turn. Yeah.
But
We'll
yeah,
watch it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the movie. Pros, cons.
I thought pros again. I think the story is good. I mean, it's pretty simple. Like, there's not too much craziness to it, but it also, like I think Justin was saying, there's some depth to it. Like, it's simple, but there's depth, which is nice. And I think the acting for the most part's good. I think that
I don't think there's anybody that was like.
I have a
one.
comment on that, but I'll wait till the con. I have a really big one.
I'm pretty sure the dad was the guy that does the. Am I getting arrested for a succulent Chinese meal? I'm pretty sure it's that guy. He's the meme. No, I mean, yeah, I thought most things overall were fine. I mean, outside of my cons, but I thought it's fine.
Who are you passing it to?
I don't know.
Anybody throw it up in the.
Okay, I'll speed run a couple. I touched on a lot of it while we were talking about it.
Run, it's fine.
Just a couple specific things.
Yeah,
when they first get to the apartment, when Jim and Selena are talking, and then it happens when they're outside on the radio.
Yeah.
I do like they're doing the thing where they shoot the scene at like kind of a slanted angle. It's like everything on the wall is slanted. Yeah, I like that. I thought it was executed well. I thought the soundtrack was good. I know we don't always pay attention to that, but I thought it added. I feel like it matched the vibes that the movie was giving.
Even in the climax, I thought it was a really good song. If I remember correctly.
Yeah,
Wake me up. Wake me
Yeah,
up.
that's what it was. Isn't that Daredevil when he's like training, right? Can't wake up. That's the only thing I remember from Daredevil.
Bruh.
I played the other Linkin Park one, the one they do for the Michael Bay.
Oh, at the very end, right, when the plane goes. Directed by Michael Bay.
That was after the gas station.
Yeah, that was his breakout scene right there. Like,
I'm pretty sure that was the very most digital scene. Little fake CGI fire cloud.
Yeah, I really like the opening scene of the movie. I thought it did a good job setting the tone.
It's iconic. It's like one of the most like.
That whole first sequence, again, kind of up to where they get to the military base. That's when I started having a lot of my complaints. We'll touch on the cons. Personally, I feel like the pacing once they get to the military base.
I thought you were going to say
like,
before then when they were like, I could see why people like when they were like all like hanging out for like a good like 30 minutes.
I think there were a couple scenes here and there that could have been pulled.
I liked it because I think it did a good job of showing the relationship building with all of them. So like when that scene happens with Frank, it makes it hit that much.
Agreed. That's why I like that.
A lot of the dream sequence was kind of unnecessary. The dream sequence.
That one is kind of
unnecessary. It didn't really. It's like, oh, they're gonna leave me, and then like. Okay.
Oh, no, I agree with all that though, and a lot of it's like, okay, we're going here and we're walking there, and now we're all traveling here. We don't know if they're gonna make it. I
liked it. Though.
It's all this kind of like roller coaster that keeps me really intrigued, and then we get to the base where they're in one spot for like the last 40 minutes, and it just. I don't know. To me personally, I feel like part of it could have been a little. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's all. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of those are my pros. A lot of the kills looked good. None of it. There was not one moment where I was like, "Yeah, that's a no for me."
So what made you give it a 4.5?
We'll get there.
Okay.
You can talk about
it right now. Oh, okay, I guess we'll keep doing pros.
I will say one of the pros. I thought the makeup and practical effects for the zombie at the base, the main one, was really well done. Like I thought that was pretty good. Like the eyes, the skin, you can tell there's like not necessarily decay, but there's definitely like almost like infection. Infection. And the movement and stuff was really good. It wasn't like cheesy, like it was like I mean he moved pretty well for a zombie. So I don't know.
Yeah. Pros.
I mean, pretty much the whole movie for me is a pretty big pro.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I can't think of anything at the time like. So, I mean, again, there's just some, like, nitpick stuff. And it's, like, maybe directional choices, like, the whole tunnel thing. Again, you have to do some stuff like that. They got to make stupid decisions sometimes for plot, right?
Yeah.
To build tension, like, you know.
They have to give the car plot armor.
Yeah, they got to give the car plot armor. It's just, like, small stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's, like, that keeps it from being, like, you know. But, like, what zombie movie is, like, a 10 out of 10, you know? Like...
Train to Busan.
Actually, you know what? That's kind of pretty. That was pretty good. Actually, I take it back. That's the best zombie movie.
It is one of the top.
This is a second for me though. This one's second.
Ooh,
so
would it be second? Oh, I have to think.
This will probably be second for me.
I don't know.
Zombieland's your second.
I might argue. Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Zombieland's a good movie. Yeah.
But Yeah, like I said, a lot of pros. I mean, I like the whole story. I like the depth behind it. It's just one of those things.
Warm bodies.
I like the. All right.
Warm bodies.
All right, we can end the movie.
Pros for myself. I thought the story was pretty good. I felt like they did a really good. Like the twist in my mind is what is really going on in the base, in the mansion or whatever it is. And I didn't expect that. I thought that was really telling of their personalities and like the reality of the world that they're in now. So I thought that was pretty good. But other than that, like I'll start off the cons as well. There wasn't really anything that I could point to that I didn't enjoy or anything like that. I think like me just giving it the average rating is just because the movie it's dated, right? Like had it been updated, and maybe it'll change with 28 years later, where like we can see more of it, or even they changed it in 28 weeks. I don't know. I haven't seen that one. But yeah, there weren't really a whole lot of cons for myself.
It's just average though. Like nothing really like stood out to you like amazingly.
Yeah, it's not. We're not talking about like Wolfman average, where I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like they took. I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. Or
Yeah, I think Adam,
it's only a little better.
I think Adam gave it a 7.5. I think he gave that one a better rating than this.
Oh, well, that was because like
That's his average. Remember,
my average is like 7. My average is 7.
The Adam average scale, which doesn't translate to actual average.
It does. It does, because if you get anything below that, we're in bad territory.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess like I did enjoy this one more than Wolfman. I'll tell you that, which is why it's.
But just only a little bit more.
Yeah,
Got higher than the monkey.
But yeah, that's pros and cons for myself.
I would say cons again, just editing, production, like you were talking about. Which if it was one of the first digital media, I could see maybe that being some bumps in the road. Trying to think. I thought of something as we were talking, and I was like, I'd slipped my mind now what my other con was, because like as you were explaining stuff, I'm like, you know what? Now I remember this was another thing. I think the dream sequence, was an interesting choice. Like maybe that was their way of showing like he was afraid of being left behind, and that was one of the reasons his driving force to go back. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
It's a director's choice. You can definitely tell. Like they want to try to do stuff. You know, like they want to make it stand out from the. I know what
it knows now. And it's not even the movie. It's the director deciding not to say it's a zombie movie when it's obviously clearly a zombie movie.
No, it's
not. How are they surviving without eating?
They don't. Wait, hold on. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of the movie when the plane flies over, why are there like the infected people just sitting there?
What do you mean?
When they fly over, there's a guy sitting against the wall and then one of them on the floor. My understanding was,
maybe they
haven't found anybody to eat, so they're dying. Like they're not.
I guess the question gets answered.
I'm pretty sure they answer in 28 weeks later. Like they starve, and that's why they go back to London.
You gotta watch it.
Again,
we're still talking about it 28 years later.
I understand why this movie influenced like other zombie movies, and I understand why if you were watching like a zombie marathon, you would put this in there. But it's like a technical thing that they're not. But
I think this is the movie that kind of shifted like the whole zombie. Because I don't know what came out. When did Dawn of the Dead come out?
Ooh, that was also early 2000s. I thought.
I think that came out after this.
I think this came out before Resident Evil.
I think this was the thing that shifted to like.
You said Shaun of the Dead?
No, that's a good movie though. Actually, no, that's a good zombie movie. That's my second one. No, I think this is the movie that shifted like the whole zombie dynamic.
Dawn of the Dead came out. You talking about the one that like was the newest one?
The remake.
The remake was 2004.
But
was it in the mall?
Yes, but I've never seen the original, and I don't know how the zombies move in the original.
Dawn of the Dead was 1978.
I don't know how they move in that one though. You know, I don't know
if they run.
Because I think this was the movie where they changed the zombie formula and made them fast. You know, I remember correctly.
And I will say,
they were fast in Night of the Living Dead.
There's gonna be such a.
That doesn't count. They weren't. You know what I mean? Like the sporadic movements, the whole twitching thing. Yeah. They weren't. They were just.
The modern zombie almost becomes like a superpowered.
Yeah, like this was I think the movie that.
There's gonna be a really funny comparison, and I know the movie's not a serious movie, like it's a comedy movie. But now that I think about it, something like Zombieland, like the whole thing is you get bit and you turn into a zombie.
Yeah.
Like where like the technical reason these people aren't zombies is because they didn't die and then come back. But like,
They're not
what
dead.
modern zombie movie? I would
At
be
this
interested
point,
to
it's all
watch
they're
that.
all infection now.
Yeah,
Resident
they're
Evil,
infection.
Resident Evil, infection, but they're
Right.
technically dead.
Yeah.
Infection.
Not a living dead. Radiation.
Radiation.
Was it radiation?
Oh,
I don't know.
they actually did come from the grave. That's literally the first body that came out.
Yeah.
They're coming from.
So then what? What's your big
I'm
con?
gonna let Adam finish.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh no, that's
Okay,
yeah.
because I was listing a lot of pros, I understand where like why you're questioning my rating. To me, it's like the way we're sitting down now. It's like if we listen to it, just as an analogy, an album. Maybe I can pick apart. I like this guitar player, or I like this track. I like this vocal performance. I like this song. That doesn't mean
Put on short and sweet right now.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I'm gonna sit down and listen to a 2-hour album and think like, even though I like parts here and there, like for me the big thing, I have specific cons I'm gonna get into,
Mhm.
but a lot of it was just like, it just didn't keep me interested, and it just didn't click the way a lot of movies click, I guess, for me specifically, which is why to me an average I agree is like a 5.
It's because they're British.
So it's like, if I went over to somebody's house or whatever and we were trying to pick a movie to watch, if this movie was pitched, I would say no. Let's get to the next one.
I mean, I like this movie, but I also wouldn't pitch it either.
Yeah.
But that's like a lot of movies. Like, I like Nosferatu. I wouldn't pitch Nosferatu on a movie night either. That's
Okay,
like,
are you ready though?
I agree.
Are you ready?
It's
Okay,
like-
I'm gonna give you. This is the top 10 of the top 100 best zombie movies ranked by the Tomato Meter. Are you ready for this? All right, here we go. No, I'm being serious. Let's serious. All right, number 1 is One Cut of the Dead, 2017. It's a foreign movie. It has a 100%. As a 100%.
It's Asian. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Real zombies attack a hack director and a film crew who are shooting a low-budget zombie film.
Bro, it has one critic review.
One critic review. Okay, all right. Number 2, Night of the Living Dead with a 95%.
Because it's
It's Train to Busan, number 3.
That's fair.
The Reanimator,
Never
number
heard of it.
4. You can probably watch that one. Dawn of the Dead, number 5,
The
1978.
original.
Shaun of the Dead, number 6 at a 92%.
This is a good movie.
The Living Dead at 91%. Sorry, The Return of the Living Dead. Blood Quantum. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Record.
I don't think Rex. Okay, I don't think Rex is a zombie movie. It's not a zombie movie. Quarantine.
Horrifying outbreak of a disease that turns humans into vicious cannibals.
If you've seen
So this movie.
no, if you've seen
But they don't
Rex,
actually eat them. They just
Rex-
literally like
Rex-
eat them
I
up.
haven't seen
Rex is a supernatural movie. It even says it at the end. It's the same thing. What?
Number 10, Zombieland.
That's
Number 11, Dead or Alive, and then number 12, 28 Days Later. Only to be followed by The Girl with the Gifts, The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
But if you take out all the classics, because they're classics, right? They're pioneers.
Okay.
The classics.
Shaun of the Dead-
Shaun of the Dead's classic. That's like saying Shaun of the Dead is a classic.
Shaun-
Just
no,
like
I'm not
saying
saying Shaun of- I'm
just
not
like
saying
saying
Shaun of the
Tucker
Dead.
and Dale.
I'm not saying Shaun of the
Evil.
I'm saying stuff
I mean,
like
that is a
Night of
classic.
the Living Dead, right? That's obviously going to be rated up there because it's the original thing that started it. So it's like,
How do you feel about Zombieland beating it?
I agree with
Yeah,
this.
that's crazy.
I gotta rewatch Zombie,
Wreck,
but I agree with
Wreck beat it, and
Rex good though. I do like Rex,
Dawn
but
of
it's
the
not a
Dead.
zombie movie.
Reanimator is 1985.
I've never heard of that.
It's
movie.
perfectly mixing humor, horror. The only thing more effective than its gory scares are its dry, deadpan jokes.
The only thing I'm getting from this list is that people like comedy over action.
Train to Busan's number 3.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what made the monkey so good. Okay, sorry.
No, you're
Another
fine.
thing to finish off my analogy, and this is my big gripe, and I
Yeah.
think this affected my score a lot. Like, I think if this wasn't the case, I probably would bump it up a few points, actually.
Mhm.
Like 2 or 3 points. I understand the reason that it was, like, filmed using the camera it was, which, I don't know if anybody's seen iCarly. It's the same.
Yeah,
use for
it's like a
handheld
yeah, it's a
camera.
handheld camera.
I understand why, like with the time constraints and stuff, it was done that way. But it's like, to anybody who hasn't seen the movie, I'm assuming most people watching this have. It's not like I'm a sucker for like things like Nosferatu or Adam, don't get mad. Like In a Violent Nature have a lot of grain that I'm like I really
Yeah,
dig.
but that's like false grain. They've added that post. It's not actually the thing.
Right. But this has like the I'm trying to watch a YouTube trailer and it will only load in 480. So it's not really grain. It's almost like it just feels like
It's the product of its time. It's the product of its time.
There's other movies that came out in that time that aren't recorded in that way. Where it's like, for me, that does a lot of damage to it in the way that, like, Short and Sweet. If that album was recorded on a fucking BlackBerry speaker, like, or microphone, like, it's gonna sound different and it's not gonna, like, to me, the visual quality really takes away from it.
I think it was fine. I think the movie itself is like a raw sense of what it is, and then I think the filming reflects that. So that's my thing.
You wanted more dong.
Yeah,
Hey,
if you just wanted more Cillian Murphy, Don could say that.
If I would have had that in
Just
4K, it would have been bumped to a 7. Also, another big one, just so I can skip over some of this. And it's really showcased in this scene. This scene is what made me look it up to see if other people felt the way I did.
Mm-hmm.
There's this scene where they're out on the balcony. It's all 4 of them. So Frank, Hannah.
The radio?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, Frank and Selena are arguing about, like, should we go? Should we not go?
Mm-hmm.
And then Hannah hits this whole, like she bursts in, like she's supposed to be doing this motivational thing of, like, actually, we all need each other. And it was in this moment that I realized her line delivery is very bad.
Yeah.
Like, Adam talked about it with the monkey, about, like, super monotone line deliveries. And I understand she's a kid actor or whatever. But it felt like she's reading off cue cards, and it feels that way. Every single dialogue she has is like a...
I never noticed.
Even, like, when Frank dies, Selena's, like, holding her back and, like, super emotional, telling Jim to kill him or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, Dad... No emotion, no
I
crying,
remember that,
no.
yeah.
And I know some of it is like, okay, if they wanted her to cry, they would have written it that way or made her do it. But a lot of it is like a lot of the
I can see
even
that.
towards the end, it's like,
He's scolding a child actor.
hey, I've seen a lot of good. I've seen a lot of.
And this is why the kid that played Anakin didn't come back to Star Wars, because of guys like
True, hey. No, Anakin did it though. That's all. That
I
was
get it.
another big thing
I
for
get
me.
it.
It's like she's supposed to be this. I don't know. She's supposed to be like one of the main characters. She is one of the main 4, and a lot of her line is just like this. And
maybe it gets better.
I'm
You
gonna
shouldn't talk too much.
I'm gonna talk about
maybe it
this
gets
movie.
better in 28 days later.
I think the hard part.
28 days
I
later.
agree with
28
you.
weeks.
I agree with you. She doesn't talk that much.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is that, like,
It wasn't enough to take me
her,
out.
her dad being killed off was.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I do agree though. I think I thought that was a little. You know what? Now that I'm looking on it, I think I did kind of think to myself too that she was a little bit underacting in that part.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
My last.
It is an
big
overshadow.
con. Oh, sorry, Adam. I don't know what to touch on.
But then they wanted to hate on my comment about the actor for the monkey.
No, the monkey.
That's exactly. That's
No, that's a comedy. Though.
That's a comedy. That's a comedy.
He's meant to be a
Yeah,
bland
he's meant to,
character.
yeah.
Finally, it's just the pacing of the second half that takes points off for me too. In that, if you like right now off the top of my head, because I've only seen it twice, I couldn't tell you what specifically I felt like needed to be taken out. But by the time I get to like where they're on the army base or whatever it is for that long, a lot of it was like I'm sitting there trying to write my notes and I'm just I couldn't stay focused.
You're honestly probably fatigued from the part before. That's the
Yeah.
part that if anything had to be cut, it was probably that middle part.
And I think maybe
It's that.
Overall, I just have that the movie. I feel like, especially for the time and like what we're getting, an hour and 53 minutes feels like. I don't know. I feel like there's something that could have been pulled, but
I want to say, I mean, so you're telling me, like, do you hate Quentin Tarantino movies? Is that what you're telling me? Because literally, there's an entire movie where they are in one, like, cabin for the entire 2.5 hours.
Isn't that
There's nothing
Hateful
but dialogue. Yeah,
Eight?
Hateful Eight, and there's nothing but
I've
dialogue.
never seen Hateful Eight.
You need to watch. I'm kind of curious because you're. I'm about to say that's
You're
usually
hating
your
big right now. You're hating. You know.
This is usually your gripes are usually like, I think they could have cut 15-20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know. There were some slow parts, but I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily 15 minutes short. I
want you to make something, and I want you to envision it and have this long thing, and I want people to tell you that it's too long, and then see how hurt you are.
Hey, I don't get $8 million.
No,
I know what you're saying.
No,
I don't know.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious how he feels about that.
I could see a lot of people not liking the pacing of it, especially like I said in that middle part, and you could be fatigued by the time. I don't think it's the ending.
They could have cut the dream sequence.
It's just there's a lot of, like I said, it picks up in the very beginning. It's all like this stuff, and then you get to this middle part where it's really slow. And again, like I said, I like it because it's showing the relational buildings. But I could see people that are wanting something faster kind of getting bored with it.
And that's just my personal and we talked about it with Nosferatu. Like I can even give me that movie what I gave it
What did you
which
give
was
it?
a 10.
10 out of 10.
Oh damn.
I can understand why somebody could watch it and be like, yeah, this movie isn't hitting for me. Like, for me, like, I can understand why you like the movie. It hurts my brain that so many people, like, consider it a staple, but...
It revolutionized the genre.
Yeah, for me personally, it just didn't.
Nosferatu?
It never hooked me in.
Yeah, Nosferatu.
Did you have any more cons? Justin, did you have any cons?
I mean, I guess I could agree with some of the ones he said. Again, the actress, the child actor, she, reflecting on it, she did kind of have some things. But again, it's not enough to make me dissuade from the movie.
I was just looking at other,
pacing-
other movies that were released, horror movies that were released in
Early.
2002. We have Eight-Legged Freaks, Ghost Ship,
The Ring? I like The Ring.
The
That's a
Ring.
good movie.
Halloween Resurrection. This
That's
is
a competitive.
Cabin Fever is actually not too bad.
I don't know. I think it was.
body horror.
I've never seen the original. I've
Hey,
seen
but
the
you know what?
remake.
But looking at it though now, I mean, some of the editing too is kind of weird. Blade 2 came out at this time, and the graphics on Blade 2 were freaking amazing. Like, oh
was
my
it
god.
Blade? Who made Blade? What
Technically,
company?
it was Marvel before they were big. Like, it was like it was what made Marvel movies like
They had millions of dollars.
exist. What do you mean they had millions of dollars?
They had Spider-Man under their belt.
So, that was
would've been
Sony. That was Sony. Look at this photograph.
That-
Oh, rock star. Hero.
I like that song.
The Cube
Yeah.
2. Have you seen the Cube? The Cube.
The first one's good.
See, but like if you look back, like looking like the Cube, it does okay, but that's also kind of aged a little bit. Like Invested.
That's it right there. That's it.
Right.
That's his competitor. That's who we're comparing.
The
it
live
to.
action Scooby-Doo.
And that's the prequel to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, if you look at this dude, there was a Swim Fan. I think I remember somebody talking about that one.
I like a lot of these movies.
Carrie, Fear.com.
I've actually never seen this movie, and I've always wanted to just because of the cover.
Signs came out that year.
Awful.
I've heard-
Signs came out that year. Actually, if you think about it, out of all these movies that came out, Blade 2 was hype. I think people liked Panic Room, but I'm pretty
I like
sure
Panic Room.
I'm pretty sure Signs, surprisingly enough, like overshadowed all these. Like Signs was the horror movie of 2019.
Yeah. Signs is the one that my dad would put on and stay awake.
Everybody,
Oh, you said-
everybody starts screaming.
Is it there in Mexico, right?
I also think, like, I don't know, maybe this. I don't watch a lot of zombie movies, so, like, it's possible that the genre also doesn't click for me. The same
Which
way,
is
like.
fine, because like
You didn't like Night of the
I'm
Living
the
Dead?
same way with zombie movies. Like they're just
Okay.
kind of
You like Night
There.
of the Dead?
I haven't seen it.
You didn't watch it? Who watched it with us? It was just
It
us
wasn't.
three?
It was just us three. I think.
Yeah.
You need to watch it.
Yeah,
Go watch it.
that was
Night of the
pre-
Night of the Living
pre-Mike
Dead.
Tyson.
And they even, you know what? They even remastered it, so it looks even
To me, it's
nicer.
like if you give me the best country album ever made, I'm not gonna give it a 10 because I just don't like.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. But I don't know. Also, to be fair, I only gave it half a point less than Ramiro gave it, and nobody's questioning his rating. I
what is your average?
feel like I'm. What do you mean? What is
What's
my
your average score?
Well, an average movie to me, like a neutral movie, is a 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
never
this
mind.
was like a little under that, but I do tend to rate movies higher than a 5. I think this might.
So
This
your
and
average
Killer
is-
Clowns
average
might
is
be
high.
my lowest.
Average is
That's how you
high.
know. That's how you know.
Do you have any? I know we.
Hey, we
interrupted
usually
you
agree
here.
though, so I'm kind of shocked.
I know. But actually, I'm actually the opposite. I really like zombie movies. I like the whole
That's
the
fair.
tropes and stuff like that. I've always been a fan of zombies and anything. I just like the idea of them and I think they're cool. So.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why too. Maybe I'm biased. I didn't like that they were British, but no, I'm just
Bruh.
Hold on, hey,
There's that one guy. I don't know if he's the asshole or a different guy on the bass that has like a super heavy accent.
He's like, well, at least, we're gonna get your hot knockers.
You know what? 4.2. No. Yeah.
Say, Mito hates zombie movies and I hate point of view movies.
Oh, I love point of view movies.
Except for
Like found
the
footage?
one, no, point
No,
of
he's
view.
talking about like in a violent nature.
Dude, he
Except the one with the dog's gonna be good. That one's gonna be good. That's gonna be peak. That's gonna
There's
be peak.
only like 2 POV movies though. That's like Presence and In a Violent Nature.
and hated him.
I didn't see Presence.
I didn't see
Presence is good.
I haven't seen Presence. I still have to see Substance, and I still have to see
What was that one?
Substance.
Skid Mark.
Companion.
Skinamarink.
I like that movie. That's a good movie. That's probably one of my favorite
That's like
movies.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Just the cameras, right?
That's my favorite. That's actually one of my.
bad. That's pretty.
That actually probably says a lot about the stuff I like. If Skinamarink.
I've never seen it.
You're not probably won't like
You're
it.
not gonna like it. Watch. He's like his watch 15 minutes.
So you know what?
Put on Beavis and
Change it.
Butthead.
No, I'm kidding.
It's a very artistic movie.
Yeah, it's an experimental.
Yeah.
film.
You saw
I
it?
like it.
No, I haven't seen
I
it.
feel like I fall for that.
It's really, really slow, but
Violent in a Violent Nature.
No, it's slower than in a Violent
Oh,
Nature.
God.
It's think of like if you gave a
If you
like
gave
a 5-year-old kid a camera and you told them to take pictures of stuff and record things on like a tape recorder throughout the house,
That's like the whole movie.
and you put that into a movie, a scary movie.
But it has a plot.
I'm sorry,
it's a very loose plot,
Yeah.
and it has you.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
I love that movie.
I've never seen it, but I've heard the Dead Meat podcast on it. That's how I know.
How do they feel about it?
They're a lot more artistic than I am.
How do they feel about Nosferatu?
They love that movie.
Okay.
They also love Skinamarink.
Skinamarink is that's one of my.
I put it on my list.
It's one of my favorite
It's on
movies.
Shudder.
Next episode, I'll take a brief note at the end.
It's one of my favorite movies. I don't know. It's you really the way you have to watch it though is you really have to immerse yourself into it. You have to watch it in the dark, watch it late at night.
No, you really do.
Like that's the way. Because if you watch it in the day, like you're just like hey, let's all. If you get a bunch of people around you watch it, you're not gonna enjoy it. You really have to be like alone. You have to watch it. And you really just have to immerse yourself into it. Just that's the way. It's really one of those movies like
horror ASMR. Like you have to have headphones on.
You have to really immerse yourself into the movie to enjoy it. If you don't, if you're trying to watch it as a casual flick, you're not gonna enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that.
Like you can't have it as background noise.
It's
either.
not, it's a very divided movie. You either really like it or you really don't like it.
Yeah.
There's nobody that's like, that was an alright movie. Like I've never heard anybody go, that's a 5 out of 10. That's average for me.
Oh, this movie's new. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's
It
new.
came out last year. I think.
Yeah. So you're either gonna really like it or really hate it. You hate it, right?
It's
Did
alright.
you watch it?
I watched 15 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah.
turn this off. You know what else was really odd? And I thought it had a good chance of being successful, but I watched a stop motion. And I was like,
I didn't watch. What is that?
it's the one where like the stop motion. It's just literally this lady that makes stop motion, and like she's basically going crazy. It's kind of like a psychological thriller in a sense with horror elements. And
Oh, it kind of goes off the rails.
yeah, it's very off the rails. But I was like we got to the end. You Shudder, and I think.
Oh, is that the one that you said that we might like?
Jordan watched
We watched
it.
it
He
on-
said it was weird.
We watched it on Hulu, and
Which
like,
one's the one that you said we might like?
Antrum.
yeah, and then we got to the end, and Ida was like, "What was that?" and I was just like, "I don't know."
Is it actually like?
how to finish it?
Is it like actually filmed like stop motion?
No. It has a few moments that do stop motion,
It's not
but
claymation, is it?
No,
I don't like
no,
claymation.
well-
That's my number one hate.
well, it has a few claymation moments.
It's about a
Claymation.
person doing claymation,
Claymation.
but we do see only.
But it's
claymation
mostly like
for a few
97% of the movie is real.
Claymation?
No,
Oh.
it's real, and then like 3%.
You don't like claymation?
I hate claymation 100%. It just irks me. It looks ugly to me. Like I hate
That's the
any
point.
But like bad claymation?
all claymation.
Because
I
are we
like
considering like
anything
Nightmare
claymation.
Before
Oh,
Christmas
okay,
claymation?
that's okay. Like it's
It is
whatever.
claymation.
Yeah, it's whatever. But I'm talking about like shit like Chicken Run. I hate fucking.
You hate
Run.
Chicken
I hate
Run?
Chicken Run. Every time I
Oh,
see Chicken Run, I want to throw
calling
it in my mouth.
Wallace and Gromit.
I hate Wallace and
Oh,
Gromit.
I'm calling John-
Whoever,
calling
I know
Josh
that's
right
the
now.
same, like the same creator, right? I hate that shit.
Robot chicken? No.
I hate Robot Chicken. That shit's ugly as fuck. I hate
Robot
claymation.
Chicken.
That shit's ugly as hell.
With that note, that was 28 days later. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the algorithm stuff. It'll really help us out. The next episode is going to be Jordan's choice. Jordan, what are we watching for the next one?
We're doing Talk to Me.
American movie, not British.
Oh,
It's Australian.
It's Australian.
What is wrong?
Change the movie.
I think that's why it was a good A24 movie. It's Australian.
It's
oh,
Australian.
I think, I don't know. We'll talk about it next time. Hopefully it's, I think we
The
might
American
all
and
agree on that
European
one.
ones are not very good.
But yeah, so tune in next time where we're going to talk about Talk to Me. Until then, y'all have a good day.